Here's some extra stuff that I was kind of forced into learning on this 1500 carburetor. This is the accelerator pump right here, and they squirt out of these two tubes. These two tubes squirt the accelerator gas when you're gassing on it. And this little tube goes from, let's see if I can get the camera in there. That little tube goes right here in this hole right here. That's where the gas comes out of the accelerator pump diaphragm right here. It comes out of that, and it goes into this piece right here, and then from here you've got your drilled holes. There's your little Welch plug there that goes to these things here. So I just had to work that accelerator pump by hand. I took the air filter cover back off and worked this by hand a couple of times. I had to hold the throttle open and then push down on this, and it started freeing up and moving again. And then we were squirting gas out and it started working, but I also noticed that since the air filter cover, our housing was off, I was able to see that this tube was leaking gas, and it's obviously because of the O-rings. They don't appear to be damaged, they're just older and shrunk. If I can't find some O-rings in my stuff, I'm not going to wait a week to try to order these and pay $10 a piece for them. I'm going to probably cheat, and I've had O-rings swell up out of shape before by cleaning them with brake cleaner. So I'm going to see if I can do that. Put a little brake cleaner on those and swell them up a little bit, but then they might shrink again. I kind of doubt it, because I had trouble with a O-ring gasket, kind of like these gaskets on here. I had one that swelled up out of shape, and I was never able to put it back on, and it would never fit in the groove again. I had to order a new one. It wasn't on one of these, it was on a Briggs & Stratton engine. Anyway, gosh, I was able to just loosen these 4 screws on top, lift this thing up high enough to get this tube out of there. And I also discovered, I didn't know what this piece was on here, but when I put my mouth on the top here and suck, it comes through, but this way it doesn't, so it's obviously a check valve is all that is. And I didn't know this, all new to me. So we'll get this back together, and I'm sorry I'm not going to take it all apart again if I don't have to. I just cleaned these with brake cleaner, and I kind of have my doubts that it's really going to swell up, but what I'm going to do now is just take a little bit of this ultra blue silicone and put on that. This is on the outside of the tube. It's not inside where the gas goes. So I'm just going to wipe a little silicone on this, because if this gas got silicone in it, I don't see how it's not going to clog up the little holes on these. So by pushing it up in there, it's going to go back down the tube, pushing it back up into where it goes in on here, and the same thing on this end. So hopefully I'm going to take a shot at that, see what happens, because the silicone's going to be pushed out onto the outer part of the tube. This is all exposed outside here. It's not going to go inside, so I'm going to take a chance with that. The worst thing that could possibly happen is I got to take the carbs off again. I got that put back together. You can see a little bit of blue on there, so the silicone is on, and I'm hoping that, I'm sure I didn't get any of it inside the tube or down in the hole that I put the tube in, other than pushing the tube into the hole, which would have wiped the silicone back up to the top. But I'm going to let that dry for a while, and what I'm going to do while it's drying is this PCV tube, I'm going to call it, because I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's flexible, it stretches, but it is difficult to get that onto the air cleaner. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go up to Harbor and buy one of those long-handled needle nose vice grips. And I'm going to go ahead and get that and come back while this is drying, and I'm going to pull this up and clamp it onto that. That'll help me get that, because I did it. I got it together last time, a couple days ago, with this long pliers, but it was a real headache trying to hold the pliers with one hand and manipulate the air cleaner with another, while I was at the same time trying to get some of these other things onto the air cleaner. There was a number of things. They're just too short to pull them up and get them on there. If they all were longer, and they would come up with the air cleaner where you can put them on and then push it all down, but it's not working out like that. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Back from Harbor Freight, I got these long-handled needle nose vice grips on here holding that hose up, so when I'm ready to put this back on. But before I get to putting this thing on completely, I want to show I found out what this thing is. It's a heat thing to draw warm air from the motor right here to help warm the motor up, to help warm the engine up. So I don't know exactly where this goes, but I would have to dig down in there kind of deep to find out exactly where it goes. But I did find a vacuum line down on the intake on the left side here. This thing, it's wet because I was sucking on it. It's damaged, and I'll just clip that, and hopefully it's long enough to reattach. If not, I'll have to put a longer one on it, replace it. This thing draws engine vacuum to open up this gate right here and hold this gate open, which will allow warm air or warmer air from the engine to go in to the carburetors. And then this other vacuum line here goes on this little heat sensor right here. This is a valve that, when this valve opens up, it will allow the vacuum, this thing will close and then allow the intake air to just come in full blast from the side here. And that's basically what that is. It's just a little damper that while the engine's cold, it directs the warmer air from the engine into the intake. Then when it gets warmed up, when this thing warms up enough, then this thing will open up and then let this thing close. This valve here will close, and then you get the full blast cold air from outside that goes in there. Sorry, I'm not good at explaining it, but at least that's how I figured out what it is. And now I'm going to start putting this together, but I got to make sure that this is going to be able to, got to make sure this is going to be able to reach that, or else I gotta, that'll be my problem. I'll fix that. Before I put that on, let's go back to the little carburetor deal down here. I mean the accelerator pump down here. It's working now, and I don't see it leaking like I did. That's the tube right in here. Let's go on ahead and look and see. See, the accelerator pump is spraying, and I don't see it leaking here, so we got that fixed. I think I have enough of it put back together to go ahead and crank it again, and let's see if our accelerator pump's working this time. It's not really cold and it's not hot right now. It might be 60 degrees in the shop here. But anyway, I do have accelerator pump. I saw that. No choke. Let's go ahead and fire it without the choke. Probably quit if I gas it without choke because it's not warmed up, but let's give it a try. Okay, let's try it with a little choke. Yeah, a little hesitation there. Give it full choke. Well, we got the accelerator pump fixed and the idle fixed, so maybe with the air cleaner on, it just needs a little bit of drag from that. I don't know yet. I'm still working on it. Seems to be doing better now. I am going to pull the spark plugs. I have not done that yet, and have a look at those and clean them up if they need it, or replace them. And I'm going to change the gas. The gas really isn't that old because we're just in the early parts of the winter. We're just in the first week of January, and I know I was driving this thing like in October, so it's not too awful old, but I don't remember if I put any treatment in it or not. But anyway, I'll fire it up, and I think it really did need the air filter, but I think it's a lot better than, well, I know it's a lot better than it was, but I'm not 100% sure that it is 100%, but it's 30 years old. I don't need 100%. Let's see what it does here. Of course, it is warmed up pretty much. 10 minutes for it to warm up to drive like that, but I don't think I'm going to have to, because I found enough trouble in the carburetor between the accelerator pump, between the idle jets being clogged up. I think we are in a lot better shape than it was in. So I guess that will conclude this. I'm not going to put the bodywork together because I am planning on painting it, unless I change my mind about painting it. I won't put the bodywork together right away anyway. One more startup. This time it's cold out. We got a little ice on the windows, and not real cold. I think it's 32. Gonna go on ahead, and garage has been open for a couple hours, I think. We'll just try one more cold startup before I upload this video. We'll try it without the choke. It doesn't like it without the choke. It's too cold. Give it some choke here. Give it the gas a little bit. It needed more choke than that. Well, when the temperature's in the low 30s, I guess it would need a little bit of warm up. But it certainly should be drivable without having to sit here for 10 minutes. May not be perfect, but I'm satisfied with it. It's a whole lot better than it was.